since we are talking about karma, I really want to know that if everything is karma, then what is the role of God? Like, is he just watching? Is he intervening? Or he just doesn't care?
So I'm going to take this whole concept by saying that karma is actually a portal to become or write our own actions, And God is not really a bystander or a principal or a loving parent that we are expecting something from. In fact, you'll be surprised to know that God cannot interfere in human free will. That is why we have prayers and invocations where we say that please come and do this for us, specifically do this for us. Human beings are the only beings that have free will in which nobody can interfere. So if you actually want something from God, you have to ask. And therefore the artis and the prarthanas and the invocations and everything. So God, the concept of God in the karmic perspective is really as an energy and not as a being. So it's not our father or our mother. It's an energy. It's a source energy where we sort of connect back to. We are a part of the same source. And we sort of, break off and come and take a human birth. And when we take a human birth, even there we have free will. So we decide what kind of birth we want to take.
Okay.
What are the lessons that we are going to learn? And based on that, and then whatever we have done in the previous lives regarding, X, Y, Z, how life has played out and whatever things you've done, call that one part of the karma, and you come and get born here and you play out with the karmic, baggage that you have, and you play out the life lessons that you need to learn. So God, if you want to look at it like it's a video game where you are playing your own thing, and let that be the source of energy watching you.
Okay.
Not interfering. It's like a parent watching their child through a glass wall, interacting in a play school, seeing what's happening and wondering, oh, really? I taught him that and he's still making that mistake. And oh my God, really? Oh, I'm feeling so bad. My child's hurt. Oh, never mind. But when the child looks back and thinks that the parent is there, but the wall is opaque on that side, so the child wonders whether the parent's even there or not. But the parent's always watching. God is always watching us play out our free will in this life, making the mistakes, stumbling, because we've learned it all there. We know the 12 laws of the universe. We know how it's going to play out. But here we come and we just do our thing. Sometimes we learn, sometimes we don't, till we return back to the pavilion and then go to our Akashic Masters and talk about the way our life played out, where we are questioned that why did you do this? You had this opportunity. And we're like, yeah, we did. And then we say, okay, give me another chance and I'm going to do this right. Then come back again into the field. And that's how life plays. So God is not responsible for what we do, how we feel, and directing our actions, except that he's indulgently watching and seeing how we are playing out whatever we've learned there in the spirit world.
So it's like, we are in boarding school. Our parents are sitting outside and they really cannot interfere with the laws of the school.
Yes.
Interesting. So, but when you said that, that's the reason we have artis and we have these verses of invocation. So when we call them, then do they come and kind of take care of our karmas or not?
So think of it like this. When we call them, we are calling upon the wisdom that they have and the energy that they represent. For example, in life, if someone's really going through a betrayal or a disappointment, he's going to call Krishna or Radha actually, Sri Radha Rani for unconditional love, saying that, can you please show me where am I going wrong? Why am I suffering? Let's say two people, especially in the case of twin flames, there's a huge amount of suffering because there is so much of intensity of the relationship that people are absolutely magnetized, and it's almost like you have to literally pull them apart, and tissue and muscle and nerves and blood and gore, everything is being happening. I have seen so many twin flame cases where people are so much in pain, and the only thing that can save them is understanding unconditional love through the eyes of Sri Radharani. And once they do it, they're able to heal their pain like this. So how does God interfere? He gives you the energy and the expertise to be able to go through that with grace, understand what's your lesson. You can only be hurt when you feel that there's a separation. This man is being taken away from me. But when you understand that there is no separation, these are only roles that we've come here to play, you go through karma in a very dignified way.
So it's more like, if I say, this is more like an antidote, right? At least those antidotes, those painkillers, it's gonna help me build that kind of body that I can actually go through it, rather than just keep questioning why is it happening to me.
So I would say that if karma or pain, as you call it, is inevitable, suffering is optional. You don't need to suffer.
Yeah.
So there are no injections. There is nothing like that. You look at it as a parent would look at their child on a cycle, falling down, getting up. The child may feel a little hurt at that point in time, only in that moment. But when he looks at the parent's like, come on. Yeah, I can do that again. Suffering is entirely optional.
Is this also a reason I feel that a lot of people feel spiritually abandoned or orphaned? Because, this whole belief that, Bhagavad Gita mein bhi yahi likha hai na, nothing happens without my will. And we very conveniently place everything on him. So I feel because of this, a lot of us feel very spiritually abandoned or orphaned. And like, if free will exists, help me understand that I think whatever we do, of course, we are the ones doing the karma and we are the creators. But everything we do, even if we are doing something bad, if I don't have the realization that what I'm doing is bad, right? But the karma is still recorded as bad karma under my name. Is that so?
No. So I'll take you back one step and
Sure.
Let's talk about karma at 3 levels. One is the prarabdha, one is the sanchit karma,
Right.
and one is the kriyaman karma. The sanchit karma is a warehouse of everything that you've ever done.
All the
So
lifetimes?
all the lifetimes, and there are all kinds of boxes lying there in the warehouse. When your soul goes back and decides to take a new birth, it decides that, okay, fine, now in this life, I'm going to play out this box or these 2-3 boxes I can carry. I can't carry anymore. So what we bring into this life and what is highlighted in this life is your prarabdha karma. And what you're creating right now, like we are creating right now, is what we call the kriyaman karma, which is the current karma that is going to affect our future. Okay. Now, in spirituality, there is no right or wrong. There are only choices. And there are only consequences to those choices. Even in quantum physics, that's what they say. Now, your question is that if we are doing something now, which we think is not wrong, will it get recorded as a bad karma? Let's go to the example of the terrorist attack that happened early this year. Okay? Now, for those people, if they truly believe that what they are doing
was bad.
Not bad, they didn't do it thinking it was bad. They did it thinking that they are justified in doing so because of the conditioning that they've had, which told them that you are the warriors of bringing peace and light into the earth. We are looking at it as an act of terrorism. They are looking at it as an act of good things, or let's say light, or bringing peace or justice, or whatever they may have thought. Now, in their mind, they are not wrong. In our mind, they are wrong. So, what is right and wrong? So, will their karma be recorded as wrong? Yes, because karma laws are as close, or let's say the closest to nature. Okay? So, nature's biggest value is what? Balance. So, anything that is out of balance is sort of
Eliminated.
incorrect, right? So, whenever someone does something, unless they have a realization that it is bad out of their free will, if they die thinking that what we did was right, they will go back into the Akashic records, understand it from the guides about a choice that they made. Now here, they could have had a karmic contract with those people. It could have been a Rinanubandh. A Rinanubandh is a contract that binds two people that come into this life, sort of an eye for an eye. Okay. Which is not so much the way I look at karma. I don't think it's so black and white that, you did this. But there are some relationships where you are bound to suffer exactly how the other person did.
Really?
Yes. So, some cases, not all. So, in these some cases, so one doesn't know. Actually, they say that the depth of karma can only be known by God. Some people say the Guru knows it, but I don't agree. Only God knows it. Why? Because there are so many records, So that's what the Akashic Records talks about. It talks about Chitragupt being the guardian of all these records. Now, let's say this person went back and we are saying, he's created terrible karma. Now, definitely the act of killing somebody from a Kriyaman karma perspective is that in his future, this is going to come back. But what if this was already a repercussion of something that the other person had done to them in their previous life? Right. So I'm not saying that is how it has played out, but this is a possibility. So, Natasha, whenever we look at life or karma or any other concept, the only thing to remember is that possibility is what will take you forward. There is wherever there is a end of the road or a conclusion, that is the end of possibility. We live on the earth, okay? Earth is a third dimension. Earth is the place where the cause and effect work out, okay? This happened, so this will happen. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. The moment we leave the cause and effect and go into the fourth dimension, which is the dimension of unconditional love, you will realize that everything becomes a possibility. There is no eye for an eye. There is no cause and effect, which means in simple language, when we raise our vibration, we are able to raise our karmic understanding. And that is one of the ways that we also dissolve karma.
Thank you so much, Dr. Manmeet. Again, an episode of absolute delight, discovery, awe, and whatnot. It's always a pleasure holding the conversation with you and getting so much of downloads and insights from you. I really hope that today's episode is again a portal where other people can transcend and get to know more deeper about karma theory. So big gratitude to you. Thank you so much.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. And to all you lovely people who stuck till the end, please don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. If you think that someone thinks really deeply about karma all the time, don't forget to share this episode with them. And we will be back again with another exciting episode and another exciting guest. Till then, take care. Thank you.